right, Loy Machedo speaking to you from loymachedo.com. Who's Loy Machedo? Think Personal Branding. A little bit of breaking news. This is an incident that took place in 2011, but now they've given their final verdict for this. So I thought I'd share this with you. Okay, links are put down below. This is all over the news right now. So, the date is 1st November 2022. Okay, so here it goes. British holidaymaker, 39, died after being beaten and starved by guards in Dubai police station after stopping in the Gulf state while on his way to visit his girlfriend in Indonesia. The inquest hears. So what had happened in 2011? It seems this guy, Lee Brown, 39, stopped off in Dubai on his way to Indonesia. He stayed in Burj Al Arab hotel, which is, the premier 5-star hotel, where he was accused of assaulting a maid. Then he was detained in Bur Dubai police station, where he died 5 days later. His inquest at Walthamstow Coroner Court will continue until Friday. Okay. So, I was kind of curious, why in the world did they, report this now? What is happening in 2011? Because, inquest, what it means is a judicial inquiry to ascertain facts relating to an incident, especially death, and to reach a final verdict. Okay, so now let's see what happened. Links are put down below, just in case I forgot. British holidaymaker died after being beaten and starved by guards in Dubai. The family of businessman Lee Brown, 39, said the British officials did not do enough to prevent his death. They accused the Foreign Office of putting diplomatic relations above the welfare of Mr. Brown. The officials in the Gulf state, that is Dubai, told them that Mr. Brown had beaten himself up after throwing his arms around. I don't seem to understand that. How do you beat yourself? You hit yourself? Oh, okay. But fellow inmates had called the family at a great personal risk to themselves to tell them that he was being beaten and starved by the police and needed help or he would die. Now, what do I think until now, as I'm reading this article? I personally don't think he would have beaten himself. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But the most likely possibility is maybe there is some stupid guard over there. There are these, we are talking about human beings. Sometimes they can really be brutal and animalistic. So maybe, I'm saying maybe, because I'm not sure. I don't know the facts. You have these police guards or security guards who really like to torture and, discipline prisoners. And what happens is when you're talking of Western expats, some of them, they think that maybe they enjoy the same privileges as they are in the West. That is why if you see videos in America, videos in UK, these guys, they shout and scream at the police. They say, use profanity. What the fuck will you do? Show me a warrant, and, especially in USA, they literally treat cops like dirt. I'm assuming, he must have thought he could do the same thing. Maybe he was intoxicated, or maybe he thought he could get away with this. And he rubbed the policeman the wrong way. And lo and behold, once you do that, I don't think there is a way to escape. Now, I'm not justifying the behavior of these cops. I'm not saying this is how they should act or behave, but I'm giving you different possibilities into shedding, my logic, the way I look at things. And let's understand this much. When you're talking of tourists, when you're talking of Western expats, when you're talking of alcohol, when you're talking of having a sense of entitlement, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and the way they behave, sometimes it spills over. Like, for example, here I stay in Thailand. We have these Western tourists who come here and they cause a ruckus, an absolute ruckus. And okay, the Thai police, they have the tourist police, they have the normal police, and they are very, very patient. But I'll tell you, sometimes when I see these tourists, the way they behave, I literally, being a bystander, I mean, you really wish these guys should be jailed. Like, I'll give you an example. After COVID, the restrictions after it got lifted, we had a group of tourists, the first batch that arrived here from France, Europe, all a mix. And the first day itself, after they opened, they went to this nightclub and the whole gang came and started beating everyone. They were intoxicated. They broke the nightclub. They damaged the chairs, the furniture. They made an utter chaos and they were fighting with other people. Then locals got involved and it was a bad scene. And, all the people who are staying here, the people in our vicinity, we all, commented on the Facebook. We said, these guys deserve to be jailed. We don't want them to be left out and we want them to be deported. So I'm not saying that Mr. What's his name? Lee Brown. Yeah. I'm not saying that he must have done this, but there's a possibility. I'm just saying there's a possibility. Now, so this guy had come on April 2011. Now, I don't think an incident like this would happen now. The chances of it happening is very remote, especially given the fact that UAE wants to open up to the world and invite people all over, wants to show it's a safe place. However, like they say, the sins of your past don't get erased because you are planning for a new future. So, and because this inquest was, they had to give the final verdict. So that's how this case is resurfaced. Now, what had happened here is, it seems that he had gone to visit the Gulf state April 6, 2011, a stopover at Dubai. He was staying at Burj Al Arab, and then he was taken down to Bur Dubai police station, where he died 5 days later. Now, the part which is suspicious is there was no footage of the alleged incident at that time, and even when they had made request, it was not provided, the CCTV footage. Now, Mr. Brown from Dagenham, East London, I hope I got that name right, Dagenham, yeah, loved traveling and was considered converting to Islam to marry his girlfriend. Oh, well, power of the pussy. For his girlfriend, he'll convert to Islam. Anyway, they're not religious, so they'll convert to anything. He would work 7 days a week, running his building, painting, decorating business to jet off around the world. Mr. Brown claimed in a statement that after his arrest, that someone who did not work in the hotel had come in and pushed him out. That, for me, that is very suspicious because Burj Al Arab, nobody's going to, you can't just have someone come in a 5-star hotel and push you out. When he returned, he said 20 people were in his room and he was later beaten and dragged to the police station in his underwear. Like I said, I believe that he must have been intoxicated and they must have got into a fight or something like that. And that is why he was taken in underwear. Nobody's going to take him from a 5-star hotel in his underwear, unless, of course, he was intoxicated. Okay. April 8th, he was taken to the public prosecutor's office where he said to have thrown himself on the floor, jumped on chairs, sustained superficial injuries to his face, arm and chest. Now, over here, wait, let me just switch off my notifications, otherwise I'll get people sending me messages. Okay. Over here, I feel this is suspicious because, the chances of the security or the policeman beating him is quite high compared to he beating himself. But, like I told you, why would they beat him is if he was disrespectful or he was boisterous or he was making too much of a noise. Okay. So he spent 4 days detained in prison where his condition deteriorated. On April 11th, his brother Steve and his sister-in-law Suzanne received a panic call from another detained Brit who told them that their relative was in a bad way and dying and at risk of dying in custody. Now, here again, like I said, suspicious. How did that guy who was with him in prison get this guy's relative's number? It doesn't make sense. Okay, unless, of course, he must have told him call. But then again, when you do make a call, you call people that you know if you are given a time to make a call. Okay, anyway, doesn't make sense. So inmate told them, you got to help. If it carries on, he could die. Okay, let's assume the guy was a good-hearted guy, good Samaritan. So he called him. They said Mr. Brown had blood on his forehead from an incident and was handcuffed in a solitary confinement. They added he had been beaten up by the police in a really bad way. Like I said, this part I kind of believe that he must have been beaten by the police. Go and get help from the British embassy and ask for help immediately. Around 2 a.m. the next morning, the same inmate called and said, did you call the embassy? They got him in solitary. They're beaten him bad. He's unconscious on the floor. How in the world would he call them at 2 in the morning? That, once again, if you do not know how prison cells work, they don't give you access to the phone every hour. Once you're kept in the cell, as per my experience, if you're kept in Dubai prison, any prison, you have maybe a phone call once, or you have once every 3 days, or there's a time frame. It's not every time. So then again, I find this slightly suspect. There's blood dripping down his face, chest, nose. He has cut from the temple area above his head. Another inmate, who was also French, told them, you have to get help for him. He hasn't eaten or drank for days. How did two guys get a phone? That's another thing I don't understand. Maybe the way they put the report is wrong. I don't know. Just hours later, the Foreign Office official visited the prison and was told Mr. Brown was asleep and was turned away. Days later, after Lee's death, Steve and Suzanne flew to Dubai, visited the police, prosecutor's office and hotel within 24 hours before flying back, as they were too afraid to sleep there. Okay. Suzanne told the court their conversation with the police station was vague and disjointed, and their request to see the CCTV was turned down. Okay, this can be possible. The couple were told the CCTV showed Mr. Brown had beaten himself by throwing his arms around, but when they asked to see the footage, they were told it was too grainy. Suzanne told Coroner there is something he kept repeating and repeating, despite telling us footage from the police station showed himself throwing himself around and injuring himself. Then they visited the chief prosecutor in his office, who said to have been quite maniac with the family with a bizarre presentation. Again, they were not allowed to view the footage. Mrs. Brown added, he told me after his death, the prosecution against him was being dismissed, as if we were supposed to be grateful to this, and they could have continued to prosecute him after death, as if we should be happy at these charges being dropped. He just wanted us to go away. She added that there are many unanswered questions about the circumstance that led to his death. Okay. Then the rest of the article is where he and the brother and sister-in-law are just talking about, okay, he was beaten up, he was starved to death. They keep repeating that, and they could have saved the brother. Brits, they're saying the Brits view Dubai as a safe place, very friendly country. It's not like Afghanistan, but then it's not the case. Okay. Now, what do I think? I've told you. I feel there are bits and pieces of the story that are not making sense. Like, for example, in a five-star hotel, you don't get dragged from the hotel room naked, especially if it's a five-star hotel. The security guards or the police guards, they would not beat you unless, of course, you are making it difficult both for you and for them. Because, like I told you, I have been to Dubai jail for shouting at a local. Those days I was a hothead. They took me to jail. But I was very obedient. I was very cool. I was very respectful. They don't just jump on you. But that's not to say that there are no bad cops. There are no stupid characters. In terms of whether I believe he hit himself, and I doubt that would have happened unless, of course, he was under the influence of drugs. I do feel that someone has hit him. And did he die because of this? Yes, there's a very strong possibility. Okay. But now what he says here, the jury inquest, which is being presided over the area coroner for East London, Nadia Persaud, continues and is expected to last till Friday. Now, even if let's say, for example, they say, yeah, the police guards and Dubai is guilty, I don't know what is going to happen. Would they get some financial compensation? Would they, are they just looking for the judgment to say, yeah, your brother was innocent and that's it? Mostly, obviously, they would want compensation. But then, even if they do say Dubai is guilty, what's going to happen? I think overall, what I feel is, which I tell people, when you're going to a foreign country, just make sure you respect the laws of that country, because when you're going there, you just do not know what can happen. See, look, we have had so many disasters from the Korea, the stampede, and it was so unfortunate. People died. All youngsters. And then you have people when they, here in Thailand, you had a French guy who came down. He got into a fist fight with a local Thai, and he just punched him once, and he ended up with a brain hemorrhage. And now he's in ICU, and this French guy is going to be jailed for years and years. And he'll obviously have to pay blood money. So I just say that if you're a tourist and you're going somewhere, learn to respect the laws of the country, and please stop expecting, a sense of self-entitlement that you can abuse the cops in your country, you can do the same in other people's countries. It doesn't work that way. And especially some of the Western expats, they really don't know how to behave. That's not to say Eastern or Arabs, they are saints. No, I've seen both the sides, but it's unfortunate. Overall, it's unfortunate because a life has been lost, a family has to endure the suffering and pain forever. And in the end, who benefits from all this? So anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you. Good, bad, ugly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is me signing off. Ciao.